Your turn to bow.
Alrighty. Okay, so this is going to be my first attempt at a video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Draskyl. I am a analytical commentator for Dota 2, have been since pretty much TI2. And these videos are basically going to be pointed at people who are relatively new to the game. Maybe you're an intermediate player, anywhere from, let's say, Herald to High Ancient. These videos are pretty much going to be for you guys. And the subject of the day is going to be understanding where I should be on the map. Now, this is a pretty broad subject, so we're going to try to cut it into multiple pieces. This one is going to be pointed at a mid perspective from a semi-aggressive hero. So this is one of my own replays. I'm going to be playing Tiny. He's a pretty common mid hero right now. And what we're going to talk about is why I'm moving to specific places on the map, what I'm looking to accomplish, and what objectives I'm trying to take. That's pretty much going to cover the entire video. I'm not going to talk too much about laning. I'm not going to talk about what items I'm buying. I'm not going to talk about warding. All I want to do is try to impart the knowledge of my thought process as to when I move around the map. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to fast forward through a decent part of this because, again, I don't really care too much about the laning phase. All I really want to do is try to give people an impression of what we should be doing. You know what, let's pause this real quick because I just realized I'm not on player perspective. Here we go. So in the beginning of the game, there's not really a whole lot of movement that's going to be going on for a mid player. You're typically just going to be farming your creeps, getting levels, maybe going for the occasional rune. One thing that I will point out, and one habit that you should be in if you're playing any sort of mid hero with wave clear, and this does pertain to movement because you need to be able to push your wave to get runes. So runes spawn every 2 minutes, if you didn't know. They can spawn either the top side of the river or the bottom. So when you're pushing the wave, it allows you to go to the rune. So in terms of map movement, it just means pushing your lane in, puts your enemy under pressure, means you can get the rune easier. So the majority of this early game is mostly just predicated around hitting some creeps, trying to get levels. I'm a very level-dependent hero. As you can see right there, I push the lane in, I run down to the bottom rune, and I go pick it up. Now it's daytime, which means I have a lot of vision. During nighttime, you're going to have to make a little bit of a longer path to make sure you scout out the rune properly. And I always buy bottle on Tiny when I'm mid, because runes are very, very useful. And it's just a nice habit to be in. So that's like kind of the first move we made this game. We're not really focusing too much on what's happening in the side lanes right now. We're just trying to make sure we get adequate levels. And as soon as we get to a point where we have a nice level on our combo, that's where we're going to start moving around. So again, you can see there really quickly, I just pushed the wave. Right there I had someone come in and try to gank for me. Wasn't successful, but I didn't figure it would work anyway, so not a huge deal. I get ganked there. Now in this situation, I actually had one of my supports TP for me. I got relatively lucky. We can actually rewind and watch what happened, because that was on 8 times. So let's go back a little bit. Okay, right here. We'll play it at normal speed. So I didn't see this guy coming, right? Which is bad on my part. I should have seen this guy coming. As soon as I recognize that he's there, I just immediately want to start backing. Now this is the new hero Grimstroke, so he's currently silenced me. What I ideally want to do is just toss that guy back, but obviously I can't. Now he stuns me, I get silenced again. This is pretty basic. I'm just trying to get to my tower to stay safe. I notice my support is there. He's graved a little bit early. Now, this guy goes in pretty hard. So I'm kind of at a point where, yes, I know my boots are in my backpack, but the courier came to me while I was getting ganked, so I kind of panicked. But this guy runs in, goes to ham, just turn around and stun him. The only reason I'm able to get that kill is because I understand the limitations of my hero. But we still haven't seen, like, too much map rotation. Don't worry, it'll happen relatively soon. And again, Tiny is a very level-based hero. So if I'm not getting levels, I'm not really getting what I want to. Now the first thing that I do this game is, since I'm winning my lane so hard, and I'm pushing, and I'm also Tiny, which means I get bonus damage from picking up my trees, it allows me to take the tower pretty quickly. So my support rotates, we get a counter kill on the enemy mid, I go back to heal, and I TP back to the tower. Now the reason I TP back to my tower and not to a side lane is because I know I'm winning this lane. It's reflected in the CS on the left-hand side. You can see I'm pretty much doubling this guy's creep kills right now. So pretty much what I want to do is I want to come back to the lane, continue to kind of exert my lane dominance, and take his tower. So that's my objective, right? I know I'm winning my lane super hard. I just want to get his tower, and that means that when I leave the lane, I'm still at kind of an advantage, right? Because he has lost his tier 1 buffer. It's no longer there. I take this guy's tower. Now I feel a lot better about moving to side lanes than I would previously. Because if he has his tier 1, he'll feel a lot better about pushing mine. So by that tower not existing anymore, I've given myself an opening to make plays.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And right now we're just looking at our side lanes. We're seeing, okay, the rune's up. It's 8 minutes in. We're going to get lucky with an invis, okay? As soon as I pick up this invis, I call that I'm going bottom. And there's 2 reasons why I'm going bottom. One, I see 2 extremely squishy heroes that I can kill. There's a Crystal Maiden, and there's a Grimstroke. Both these heroes basically just flop over to my combo. The second reason I'm walking down here is because a fight has already started. Now this fight is kicked off because my Centaur is currently stunned. I know that in the time it takes me to travel down here, it's very unlikely that all of these heroes are just going to dissipate into thin air. The worst thing that happens is my Centaur dies, and I get there in time to save my Lion. Now this is something that you're probably not going to know unless you have a little bit of experience in the game, but just as a general rule of thumb, if you're a mid hero and you're trying to gank a side lane, it usually helps when there's a fight already going on when you try to go there. Now this is especially important in the early game because I don't have a Blink Dagger yet. It's 9 minutes in, and my hero needs Blink to be able to reliably initiate without something already happening. So you can kind of pad your ability to gank side lanes by seeing a fight happen and then TPing, as opposed to TPing first if your hero does not have a way to close the gap. So we're making our way down here. We got Invis. We're gonna get a nice combo off on the Spectre. Now I choose that guy because he's the core. He happened to be in a really good position. He was standing basically right next to me when I came out of Invis. And we're just gonna keep fighting this because we've killed the core and all that's left are 2 support heroes. And we're chasing that guy. We get another kill. I believe we also pick up the Crystal Maiden here as well. Yep, we get a nice toss. 1 or 2 auto attacks should do the trick. Okay, so we rotate bottom, and we get 3 kills. Now, that was pretty lucky, mainly because the rune that we got was an Invis. Now, a lot of people would say, okay, yeah, well, you only got that because you got an Invis, but going back to what we were doing earlier, pushing the lane, making sure we can get the runes, we enabled ourselves to get these runes by pushing. And sure, the Invis is lucky, but it's also based on the lane pressure that I applied. If I had never pushed his tower, or taken his tower, this guy would have felt like he could just maybe go to the rune himself. Maybe one of the supports goes to the runes and takes it, so I'm not there in time. That's why that kind of stuff is important. So I go back mid. I've killed pretty much every single person in the bottom lane, and I look top, and I see that my tower is under pressure. I instantly TP. I want to TP to this lane because it's a safe lane tower. This objective is very, very important to keep alive. I know that the OD that I'm laning against is probably not going to be able to push that fast, and I can afford to TP. So we go on to free cam real quick. This guy probably still sees me. If not, it's like at the very, very like edge of vision. Even if he sees me, it's fine, because my only purpose of this TP is to defend my tower. They got 3 heroes and a cart. So I want this tower to stay alive, basically at all costs. The longer you keep your tier 1s alive, the easier it's going to be for your safe laner to farm, the quicker you're going to be able to react to ganks. All your tier 1s, you want to, especially the safe lane and the mid lane tier 1s, you want to keep them alive at, like, pretty much, if you can, you want to fight it. So I TP, I go in, I get a nice combo. Let's switch back to player perspective. Let's go 1x speed. So I throw the combo off onto the Grimstroke because he's the squishy hero that I know I can kill right away. Now I'm waiting for my toss to cool down, and this guy will definitely die too. And I've had 2 really nice rotations. It's 11 minutes in. Both my TPs have basically resulted in kills. Well, sorry, my 1 TP and my 1 rotation bottom with the Invis rune have both resulted in kills. So that's 5 kills for me at 11 minutes. I've already taken the opponent's mid tower. I now have a blink, right? So this Blink Dagger opens up a lot of opportunity for me. I'm looking for kills all the time right now. I'm over-leveled. if we check the level graph, you'll notice that I'm still higher level than the OD, even though he's been in lane this entire time. This guy has not left his lane since minute 1. It's now 11.5 minutes in. I'm still higher level. Now, typically, when you are just sitting mid, you're going to get more EXP than the person who's moving around. But I've gotten kills every single time. So if your ganks are successful, you're going to be able to stay relevant on experience. Just keep that in mind. And the reason why my 2 ganks were successful, 1, I secured the rune. 2, I knew that I was going to be able to get kills bottom because a fight had already broken out. And then the one for top, they were pushing an objective with 3 heroes. They probably felt safe. Having 3 heroes there and a cart with no one showing at the tower is a lot of free damage that the Radiant team can potentially get. That's why I TP. And you'll notice that when I TP'd in fog because I didn't want them to see me immediately, right? So that's how I get my kills. Alright, so let's speed it up a tiny bit. We want to go for this kill. We're going to reveal our Blink Dagger, and we want the Blink reveal to be someone who is high value. This guy has been able to farm for quite a while just because of how much I've been moving around. So I want to kill him once. Okay, so this guy backs off. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's watch it again just so you guys understand like exactly basically what happens. Alright, so this is normal speed. My Blink Dagger is coming out to me right now on the courier. I pick it up, and the first thing that I want to do is I want to kill this guy. But you'll notice that when I walk forward, this guy suddenly starts to back up. You know, it's daytime. Maybe he clicked on me. Maybe he saw my Blink Dagger. I'm not sure. My instinct is that he probably knows I have Blink by now. So my decision changes from I want to kill this guy to I don't really see anyone on the map. 2 heroes are respawning, one of which has Haunt. And now I'm thinking if committing for this kill is actually such a good idea because he's getting close to his tier 2, right? So my movement's going to change. I go from this guy's a free kill to this guy might die, but I'm also going to die. So I decide, okay, I'm not going to kill him fast enough. I back off. Now, when I see this Grimstroke over here, there is no way this guy lives through my combo. And he probably doesn't think I see him. So I immediately react by just blinking in and killing him. Now these types of situations are going to present themselves a lot, especially if you're a Tiny and you're ahead. Tiny is great at picking off low health heroes. You want to be able to just get those quick kills and then just get out. That's like the ideal situation for him. So we're making our way top. Our tier 1 died, so in reality this rotation is still a little bit late. And I still want to go for this kill because I'm just here now, right? I committed to the decision to go top. It probably wasn't the optimal play to walk up here, but I'm already here, so I might as well give it a try. I don't have a TP right now, and walking back mid would just make me waste time. So since I'm already here, I'm going to try to commit. So, you know, we didn't get the kill, but that's okay. And the reason why it's okay is because we applied pressure to that hero. And as soon as I realize that we're not going to get the kill, I want to go back mid. And the reason I want to go mid is because, again, I'm trying to keep my tower alive. I make this movement specifically so that the OD is not able to hit my own tier 1. I notice that there's a team fight going on bottom. I don't have a TP in my inventory, which is definitely not a good thing. I should have a TP. If I could TP, I might kill this wave and then go bottom after the fact. But I'm not going to be able to do that because, again, no TP. So that's a shame on me. That's a slap on the wrist. Fortunately, I saw the OD back, and I saw him walk into fog. I knew pretty much how far I could blink, and what the probability was of at least dealing damage. Now, I have to be honest, I didn't know if I was going to get this kill. I had no idea if he was going to die to the combo damage or not because I don't really play Tiny that much anymore. So I don't understand what his combo does at full potential. Now, I believe this guy ends up dying, but even if he didn't, I'm sending him back to base, okay? And a lot of maybe newer players are going to look at it and say, well, yeah, you didn't kill him. But the reality is he's still going to have to go back and go heal before he can come out and farm again. And that in of itself is a win. Anytime this guy spends off the map is good for me. He's not getting gold? Great. So we're going to continue. This guy goes down. I was actually surprised that I killed him. I did not think I would kill him at all. I kind of just assumed that, you know, I might get him low. We're going to go Shrine right now. We're looking for mana. We haven't really been able to get a rune for a while, and I also still don't have a TP on me. So my team decides that we're going to smoke. Now, this guy has no idea what's happening, right? Like, we've all smoked. We got 3 heroes on the left. I'm walking through the front, and the reason I'm taking this particular pathing is because I want to be on the high ground. I want to just, for a second, explain why I'm going the way that I'm going. If you notice my pathing, there is no point where I will be able to be high grounded, as in, they're walking from the left. There's a ramp here. Their smoke can get revealed from this high ground. Their smoke can get revealed from this high ground. That is why I'm not walking that way. I'm walking through the lane because there's no high ground advantage for the enemy team. Now we see this guy, so my team probably feels safe. But let's watch what happens. Let's go back to player perspective. And then we're still on me. So I come in, right? But you'll notice immediately, I go on this guy. My team goes on someone else. So now all of a sudden, my decision making has been altered because they open on another hero, and I'm on the core. So my thought process is, I want to kill the guy that is the most value, and these guys don't have a choice because they essentially walked up high ground into a support hero. If they had gone with me, we would have all been in the same spot, and this guy would have died immediately. And this guy's going to pop his hood. I realize, hey, we're not going to kill him. And my team gets 3-man RP'd. So, now I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't really want to, like, be a part of this anymore. I'm just going to start hitting creeps. And the reason I'm hitting the creeps is because after I see a 3-man RP and I have no mana for a second combo, I'm a little bit hesitant. You can see that I really just don't want to go in. I throw out a stun, kill some creeps. I already know I'm not committing to this, so I want to back. I see another hero come down there. This is a really important thing to note. When you are going for fights, a lot of people will over-TP. And what I mean by that is, let's say I go gank that Spectre. Maybe 2 people TP, maybe 3 people TP, maybe 4 people TP. The chances of you getting an overreaction in any bracket is high. But if you're showing that many heroes on the map, there is almost a 100% chance that every single person on that enemy team, if they have a teleport scroll, they're gonna use it. So if you take into consideration how quickly it's going to take you to get that kill, you can decide pretty early on in the fight if you want to keep committing. You'll notice as soon as I didn't kill the Spectre that I didn't continue to chase. And I didn't continue to chase because we had already been fighting for a little while, and everyone just goes off the map all of a sudden. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, RP's down, but the Spectre isn't dead. My team got RP'd together. They're probably going to lose at least 1 or 2. And then there's also potential more TPs, right? And I have no mana, so I'm out. That's my decision making. It's equally as important to know when to go in as it is to know when to run. And in this situation, running was absolutely the right call. So we're going to pick up some TPs. We're kind of holding a little bit of money. Now you'll notice that I TP back down to the bottom lane. TPing here is, I think it's okay. It's not the best TP, but as a general rule of thumb, when you're teleporting to a tower, what you want to usually consider is, when is the last time a fight broke out? What are the abilities that were used? So Haunt and Reverse Polarity were both cast in the last fight. So because those abilities are down, the enemy team's potential to take a fight is pretty low now. They don't have 2 of their most powerful utilities. So I feel pretty safe in TPing to this tower because I know those abilities aren't up. If you TP and, you know, everyone's off the map and nothing's happened for like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden your core hero gets smoke ganked, you're going to feel kind of silly about using that TP scroll. So my general tips are, TP to defend a tower. If the tower is like a mid lane tier 1, a safe lane tier 1, you can TP to defend those from creeps, right? And I mean physically being attacked by creeps. Then you can TP. And if you do, you want to communicate it, right? You should say, my TP's down. I'm not going to be able to TP if you guys fight, just so your team knows, because communication is very, very important. The other one is, if you haven't seen anyone for a while and you don't have good vision, randomly TPing to a tower, especially when that tower is not directly under siege, is a bad habit, and I would not do it. So any sort of TPing to a tower just for no reason, you know, even if there are creeps in front of the tower and no one's there, I would advise you not to TP. Save your TP for when it's actually needed. I used to tell people, just walk anywhere you can walk and only save your TP for a fight. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but it's also a pretty decent rule of thumb. So we're just going to hit some creeps for a bit. We have pressured out the lane. I have a deep ward right here, and I'm feeling pretty confident. I see this guy. I got a high ground ward. This guy should pretty much just explode. Alright, so we got him pretty low. We're going to continue to chase. We get a Centaur ulti, and I see that the Grimstroke is mid. And we're going to continue to chase because I got my teammates behind me. We're going to get another smoke up here. And right now, I want to just make note of the positioning of the map that I'm currently in. So we're playing against a Spectre, an OD, and a Mag, right? They got good late game. They have one of the highest winning % heroes in the game, Spectre, on their team. I do not want to give them an inch, right? Now, we haven't taken the tier 1 tower yet, but I want to make note of where I am and why I'm here. We've killed 2 heroes. I saw 1 hero showing mid. Chances are, maybe I can pick him off. Maybe he doesn't think I'm going to be here because we're smoked. There's a multitude of reasons. But the main one, and the most important one, is that I want to pressure the enemy team and make them feel unsafe. I don't want them to be able to walk into their jungle and farm. I don't want them to be able to push lanes. I want all of those things to be restricted. So I'm going to be on their side of the map as often as possible. If you are in a situation where you are as far ahead as I am, and you are sitting on your side of the river, chances are, if you're not defending a tower, you're not doing it right. If you're a hero that can make moves, if you have a Blink Dagger, if you're a hero that has solo kill potential, you want to be in a position where you can utilize that strength. And the best place to be to do that is typically in the opponent's side of the map. Either in the jungle, pushing a wave if you have a support behind you, stuff like that. So we're smoked. We're waiting for someone to show in the lane. We're kind of hoping right now that someone's going to pop their head out to try to kill the creep wave, but they're pretty well onto us. I see 2 heroes show top. I notice that my Ember Spirit is getting ganked, and I decide I want to try to help. Now, this part is a bit of a snafu on my end. I walk up, and I notice this guy a little bit late. And I like throw out a combo on him and stuff, and I notice a TP. He haunts, and my toss hits the illusion instead of the hero, which means that I can't physically get the kill, right? So we saw the CM. My Lion player pinged the CM, and he was up on the hill. I made an educated guess of his pathing that he would basically have to be running to the right or the left. Now, if he runs to the left, he runs through my Lion, which means he can't run left because he'll get stunned, so that he has to run right. So I blink up to the high ground, and I kill him. So we get a quick kill on the support. We're already godlike. It's 16 minutes in. We're feeling pretty good about our game so far. We've had a lot of successful rotations. Not a lot of bad movement so far, right? Obviously, it's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to walk to a lane, and you're going to not be able to get the kill. And that's fine. If you walk to a lane and you don't get a kill, but you still apply pressure, that's okay. Now, this guy is just way out of sorts. He's getting desperate, though, right? And this is the effect that a very snowbally kind of mid like Tiny can have, is the enemy team feels like they have to try to play greedy in order to recover. And when you play greedy, you put yourself in a position where you can die. So right now, I am 2,400 health, I have 13 armor, and I'm just feeling, I'm living large. I'm having a great game, I'm feeling super confident, and even though I know that there are like 3 or 4 heroes here, I'm still thinking about going in. And the reason that I'm thinking about it is because, again, understanding my hero limitations. Now, we're not going to get too far into that kind of stuff in this particular video, but I just want to tell you guys that the only reason I'm contemplating this play is because I know how tanky my hero is, and I know how scared they are of me. And we're going to use that fear against them by continuing to pressure. So we get a nice combo, we kill a Grimstroke there. I also want to make note that my team was actually behind me a fair amount this game, which helps a lot. If your team is not coming with you, then you're going to be feeling a little bit more hesitant to go into these types of situations. But I am just, at this stage in the game, I am super freaking farmed. I'm really far ahead. My team ends up getting caught out here a little bit, and at this point, I am going to hesitate a lot because I am worth a crap ton of money right now. So I'm waiting, right? I'm just waiting here. I want to know what's going to happen with the fight. I'm not committing immediately because my team just popped Centaur ulti to run. I've already lost a Dazzle. So I'm sitting here and I'm going, alright, do I want to go in? Do I not want to go in? And when I got Nova'd by that guy, I assumed that they had a ward, but I didn't know exactly where it was. Now, after watching the replay, I know it was on the hill to the left. But, you know, in this particular moment, I'm not sure exactly where it is. I ping thinking that the ward is right there. I go back in. I get a kill on the CM. That play was a bad play. I should not have gone in there. And the reason I shouldn't go in is because there are 4 heroes. Actually, there could have been 5 if the Spectre decided to haunt. That guy lands a skewer on me. There's a chance that I just go down there. I would not do that play again. If I play this game again, I would not do that. So that's a bad one. We're going to openly say, even though I got away with it, there are bad plays. There are bad plays that can work out. So we choose to go back in here. I know Skewer's down. We get a really quick kill on the Grimstroke, and my Lion player has opted to help me, but you'll notice I'm out of mana. So I'm peacing out, right? I got pretty lucky there as well, because the enemy team had decided that they wanted to go for the Lion instead of me. So I just retreat. I take the opportunity to say, okay, I can't cast a spell. I'm bailing. I don't want to be here anymore. We're going to make our way back mid because the enemy team just showed a bunch of heroes. We're going to get a really easy kill on the Grimstroke because we're just that far ahead and he can't really do anything about it. Now, I actually messed up there. I should have checked the rune. So you'll notice it's 20 minutes. I prioritized the bounty runes, actually, over going for the actual rune. It wouldn't have taken me more than like a second to pick it up. So in that light, yes, I should pick up the rune. So I go in, I get their bounty rune first, and as a rule of thumb, if you're going for bounty runes, especially if you know there's no one there, I want you to go for the rune that is the dangerous rune first. And what I mean by that is the rune that's on the opposite side of the river. So if I'm Radiant, I want to go for the Dire bounty rune first. The reasoning is if I'm going for theirs first and then back to mine, I'm putting myself in a dangerous situation and then a safe one, which means if they are TPing or they are currently walking towards the rune, I'm giving myself a better chance of getting both, right? Especially at the lower MMRs. People are typically going to run to their bounty rune first every single time. So as long as you're there and you know no one's around to kill you, you know, drop a scan on the high ground, stuff like that, you get theirs first, then you get yours. If you can't because someone's there, that's fine. Just get your own. But just try to get into the habit of going for both if you can. So I notice that there's a fight happening mid. I'm just going to shove the wave. And I'm making this choice specifically because I know I cannot be there in time. I heard the Centaur ulti go off. I know Spectre's bottom. A couple of heroes in the mid lane started to run away. I'm going to take this opportunity to pressure a tower. Now, in all truthfulness, this tower probably should have been dead ages ago. We had been making a ton of space on the map. We've been killing a lot of heroes. But my safe laner is an Ember Spirit. He's not the best hero at killing a tower. Fortunately for him, I'm a Tiny. So we're just going to bop this thing down. No one's defending. Everyone's still pretty scared of my hero, so we're just going to keep abusing that. We're just going to go straight for the tier 2. Now, they have a ward down there, but we can't see them. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and rewind this really quick because I want you guys to... So we're going to go 1x speed. Now, I see this guy. And I toss first. because I knew this guy had a blink dagger, and I toss so that he can't blink away. I throw the stun after. Now, it's not the most optimal damage combo, but it does prevent him from getting away. And as soon as the high priority target is dead, we get the tower, and now we're feeling pretty safe. You know, 3 heroes down, someone killed the Spectre in the bottom lane, looks like it was 2 heroes, but we're feeling pretty good about it. Now there's 3 heroes dead. We're thinking about potentially pressuring this building here. I want you guys to note the lack of hesitation. The lack of hesitation is super, super, super important, okay? 3 heroes are down. I'm an initiation hero. If you're playing a hero that goes in, and you're in like this 3 heroes down, pushing high ground, have an opportunity to potentially take a Rax moment, you cannot hesitate, okay? Sure, they might have buybacks, but guess what? If they commit to buybacks, that's still economical damage. That means if I kill that guy one more time, it's 7 minutes before he can buy back again. That opens up a window. A lot of people are going to get really scared and say, I don't want to just go up on the high ground because, you know, what if they buy back and I die? The thing about Dota right now in its current iteration, you got to take risks to win the game. And this is like one of the best risks you can take, because if it works out, you're giving yourself permanent damage to the enemy base. Something that cannot be undone. If we get this Rax, we're sitting pretty. Okay? So I just go in immediately. Okay, so we get stunned by the Grimstroke. Heroes are respawning pretty soon. I don't want to chase that guy too far. And I noticed that everyone else's respawn timer is getting kind of low. My Lion doesn't have a lot of HP. But we're going to linger a bit. Honestly, I should be hitting this tower a bit more than I am right now. I should actually just still be hitting the tower. I don't know why I'm like kind of sitting on this high ground, but I think I go back in. Yeah, I get the CM kill. The kills are nice, but the truth is, I probably could have gotten a lot more damage. And if I had my whole team here, there's a good chance that we could just straight up Rax. But obviously they're pushing in bottom. They're still doing something on the map. Even if it's not an optimal play, it's still something. So we're on the enemy side of the map. We're going to take one of their camps away from them. It's 22 minutes in, so we check the rune. And we're going to push out mid one wave, I believe, and then we're going to check bottom. So you'll notice how efficiently I use my time, right? So what did I do? I was top. I should have hit the tower a few more times. Whatever, we didn't do it. We kill one camp. We go to the rune. We walk mid. We kill one wave to push the wave in our favor. And then we start walking bottom because we're hoping there's a rune. And we need the rune right now because we don't have any freaking mana. We notice that some heroes die. We opt out of the rune because we're scared. We don't want to give away our streak still. So we're going to pop the shrine for some mana. We're going to pick up our tree and kill a camp real fast. Now we're feeling a little bit like we don't want to fight right now because we just saw so many heroes bottom and we lost 2 teammates. So we have a lead. The next thing on our mind, and I don't believe we actually did it this game, but what you want to be thinking about in this position is potentially Roshan. A Roshan would be very, very nice for us right now because I have like AC, I have Echo Saber, Blink Dagger, Aquila, right? I am worth a crap ton of money, I'm high level. Roshan should just be something that we naturally do in our progression. Now again, in this game, I don't think that we went for it, at least in a timely fashion. Our TP's in our backpack right now. We're going to scout out the Arcane Room. We want to make our way towards mid because we saw a fight breaking out. And right now, we're taking this particular path because we want to kind of be on the high ground or we want to be in fog. We do not want to reveal our position if we don't absolutely have to. Again, we're always looking to push the wave, trying to get lane and map control. We get a pick off. And we see the Spectre, but the Spectre also notices that I'm there. I think I blink forward for this one, but I don't think I get anything out of it. Yeah. And we don't even get the wave either. So this was kind of a misplay on my part. I should have just been mid. If I didn't make this movement, probably mid tower dies, and we're looking at a much better situation. So that was actually just a bad move, right? I miscalculated how far away he was going to be. I didn't get the stun that I wanted to get, and even if I got the stun, chances are I probably don't even kill him because he has a hood. So we have to go back mid. Now this tower, again, theoretically could already be dead. But we decided to go for the play on bottom, and it didn't work out. We get the tower anyway, so okay. No harm, no foul, I guess. But we're still having kind of a hard time breaking the high ground. And again, this is where the Aegis comes in. That's our next objective. We've taken almost every single tier 2. Only one left is bottom. We see a hero. We immediately kill that hero. Notice, no hesitation. Just go. And I have my team behind me. I got my Dazzle. The only one who's not here is the Ember Spirit, right? So again, lack of hesitation. You go in, you get the kill, you get out. Now at this point, what I should be doing is calling for my Ember to just come mid and, you know, let us fight them. This is actually a point where I need to take the leadership role, because this was a subscriber game, which means a lot of the people in this game were significantly lower MMR than my own. But it's important that if you are the most experienced player, that you tell people what to do so that you can win the game. If I had said come mid, we might have had a much better chance. So fight breaks out. I go for the OD because he's a high priority target. He starts attacking me here. I'm kind of in a really awkward spot. I want to pick up a tree. I turn around and start hitting the Spectre because, again, high priority target. We throw the tree at him. He ends up going down. We've gotten 3 heroes here. But I'm pretty low at this point. I'm sitting up on the high ground because if, for whatever reason, that OD or the Crystal Maiden decided to walk up, good chance there's no ward there, right? So if they walk up that hill, I'm now in a situation where I can just straight up kill him. I got combo mana, I got mana to pick up a tree, and I got a couple of heroes next to me, even though that we're a little bit low on life. It's not a big deal. So after a few seconds, we realize that this is going to be a futile effort, and we say nope. We're not going to go in for that one. If the Crystal Maiden shows, I absolutely want to go for that kill. There's only 2 people alive right now, and I got 3 of my teammates. But it very quickly becomes clear that, you know, we're kind of hesitating a bit here. We're low. We're like, I really don't want to die. It's still worth a lot of money. So we're going to push in the wave, and I think I just end up backing. So we find a haste rune. Still haven't taken Roshan, by the way. And I think we go Shrine here. Yep, we go to the Shrine right away. We're trying to heal so we can get back out on the map as soon as possible. Realistically, what I should do in this situation is TP back to base to get full health and mana. You'll notice, even with swapping out my items, I don't get nearly enough health from this thing to really feel completely safe. It's just it's a nice little buffer, but fortunately I got a Dazzle, so he's going to top me off. And I should be pretty much good to go again. And as I said before in the beginning of this isn't a perfectly played game. Very few Dota games you're going to experience where you do absolutely nothing wrong. And just as a reminder, we lose this game. I wanted to give people kind of an idea of, even from my own perspective, things that, you know, you can look at to say, I can do better. I've already found 5 to 10 things where my movement has been suboptimal and or just completely useless. Like the Spectre one is probably the most glaring example. Not hitting top tower a little bit more. I could definitely have gotten more damage. We haven't gone to Roshan yet. Those are 3 huge things that we absolutely could do better in this game. Even though, at this point, let's open this. I actually forget what my score was. Okay, so I'm 17-0. So most people watching are probably like, wow, you're 17-0. But there's still so much more I can be doing, okay? So at any level of Dota play, you can always do more, right? And that's kind of what I want to impart with these types of videos. So we're still looking to pressure. We're kind of sitting outside the enemy base because we don't want them to be able to get out on the map. Basic premise of being ahead, if you can't push the enemy base safely, what I want is to contain the enemy as long as possible. My Centaur finds a nice stun. We get a kill on the Magnus. Haunt's going to come out pretty much straight away. And I'm trying to disengage at this point because I am unsure as to how many heroes are in the area, but I'm guessing it's all of them. As soon as my team is there to back me up, I got my haste rune. I'm looking for some heroes, but I have a hard time seeing because of the Desolate mechanic. I can't realistically find anyone to kill. CM's going to be there. That stun hit, but my Lion follow-up was a tiny bit slow. But doesn't matter. Get the kill. And again, we're 15k ahead. People watching this game probably think, man, there's like no way you can lose. You're 5 levels higher than the enemy mid. You got enough money for a BKB. This game seems pretty free. But in truth, we could be even further ahead. I could have an Aegis and a BKB, and this push that we're about to make on bottom lane could just end it for us. That could be the make or break. Alright, so 30-minute runes are going to be spawning here in a second. I think we actually just end up backing again. And if we're backing at this point, Roche is clearly the choice. Like, this is a stage in the game where it's kind of ridiculous that we haven't taken Roche yet. I have a really bad habit of trying to avoid Roche as much as I can. And there's no really good reason for it. It's just a habit that I have. If I had been just pinging and be like, yeah, okay, let's just go Roche. I'll get BKB. We'll just go push with all those things. I could very easily see this being just like a 35, maybe 40-minute win. And then everything would be fine. Now, I have my 10-second BKB at this point. So I'm thinking, alright, I got BKB. Let's go. I pop it. We go in. We get the mag kill really quick. Again, my team is here. My Ember commits in all the way. He's walking into tier 4 towers. A little bit sketchy right now. But we're trying to get some damage on the tier 3. Alright, so we're going to pick up a tree again. We're going to go back in. We're looking for another kill. Now, this is kind of where it starts to get a little bit hectic. The CM ulti is going to get interrupted. And I'm kind of sitting here like, alright, I want to kill this guy. And I get my my last tree charge gets used there, so I can't realistically hit him. We're going to see some buybacks, right? And the Ember Spirit ends up going down. The OD buys out. Now, we're kind of in a precarious situation, but fortunately we have TPs. So we're okay. Now, we committed too hard for that, right? We should not have gone to tier 4s. We saw an opportunity where maybe if we get enough kills, we win the game, but buybacks basically repelled our push. So that was kind of a turning point for the enemy team where they successfully defend. They lost to tier 3, and with the use of a buyback, they're able to stay strong. Now, if I had Aegis, maybe that fight goes differently. Maybe I'm able to absorb more damage from my team, I respawn with my BKB charge, and we're able to just straight up win. And that's the importance of understanding what objective you should take and win. If Roshan is available, just take it. If you know for a fact that you can take it, just go do it. So we respawn. We're looking to deep push lanes right now. I want to get mid and top pushed primarily because Roshan is very easy to take when those lanes are pushed in. So we TP immediately, and this follows the rules of what I was talking about earlier in the game. You TP when you know that a fight is very unlikely to break out. And I knew that because we were at their base, the chances of a fight breaking out were not super, super high. So I felt pretty confident TPing, and I also now have bots. So my TP cooldown is shorter, and I can also TP to creeps. I see 2 heroes top. I'm not really looking to commit to a fight right now because I'm completely alone. I'm going to just be okay with pushing the wave and then making my way back towards perhaps mid lane to push. I scope out the wave. I'm like, alright, this one's going to push in. I'm kind of scared. I walk over to Roche. I think I started telling my team that we were going to be doing Roche right about now. I see a couple of heroes mid. So taking Roche at this point is very risky. I would much rather go for a fight and then take Roche than I would just want to just plainly walk into Roche and then kill it. So my team gets a CM pick. We're still looking to push the waves. At this juncture, Roshan it has to be done now. Probably could go for the Roshan before we did the mid push. Would it have won us the game? I'm not sure. Does it give us a better chance? Absolutely. If you can end the game on the first push, that is ideal. So we go for the Aegis now. We still have a pretty hefty lead, right? We're still thinking, okay, this is pretty good. Haven't died yet. Still got a bunch of kills. My Lion player is making sure that if the enemy team does walk over here, they're going to get scouted. It's a really good habit to be into in putting yourself between the Roche pit and the enemy team if you're a support, especially if you have mobility items, so that way you scout out the enemy beforehand and your team can get in a better position to fight. So this is like a 34, 33-minute Roche. That was the first Roche of the game. So already, from an objective standpoint, we're like, oh god, we should have done that so much earlier. So we see a hero, no detection. CM ends up living. Now, I don't want to fight like this, right? My Centaur's on a tier 4 tower. They use RP. They use Haunt. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we already dove once. I don't really want to try to dive again. I basically want the ideal engagement, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to find because that guy's dead. Now you'll notice that I kind of ignore the Spectre. And I ignored him because he's like too tanky. This Grimstroke's going to go immune to damage for a second here, and we do eventually get him. You'll notice again, I'm not hitting the Spectre because I don't really want to kill my team. And I also don't think I really actually have the damage to get the kill. So I end up getting popped here. CM freezes. I actually miss a stun, which is pretty bad. But I think this CM ends up dying anyway. Okay, so another buyback. We're repelled again. We were down 2 heroes. I immediately bought top because I'm not looking to fight and I know Haunt's down. So I'm back to the lane game. I'm just trying to push out the lanes as much as possible. Whenever there is downtime in fights, I want people to always be in the habit of trying to push whatever lane you can. Pushing lanes is essentially the premise of every single move that happens in Dota. If you walk to a lane and it's at your tower, you have a very limited amount of plays that you can make. So I'm like, my only play is push the creeps, right? So you want to try to put that in much more of a... You want to push into the enemy as much as you can to force them to be the ones defending, right? So every time I see an opportunity, I push. I always push. You push the lanes, you're going to have a good time. And again, map movement is very much dictated on pushing those lanes. They go hand in hand. It's one of the most basic principles of Dota that people at even like a 4 or 5k level, which is, you know, ancient to low divine, they still don't understand it. But it is incredibly important. So again, we're back at their base. We got 5 heroes. We got our BKB. We're going to try to get a couple of hits off on the barracks here. And I hear an RP bottom. Now, this is kind of one of those points where I'm thinking to myself, we shouldn't really be split right now. This is more of a team cohesion thing. And we've already lost 2 heroes because my team was not with the core, right? Truth be told, I still had BKB. My moving down here is actually a mistake on my part. I should not move down here. I should be mid. I should be hitting that Rax because I potentially just get the Rax. I still have a BKB charge. I know the enemy team is committing on mine, but I do a ton of damage to buildings. Realistically speaking, that decision could have just cost us a lane. Like, I could probably kill that melee Rax, assuming no glyph. So even though my team should have been behind me in the first place, the follow-up is I should not go bottom after the fight is already lost. So we're going to wait a little bit. We're going to go for a stun on this guy. We get a fair amount of damage with our stun tree toss combo. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking to myself, you know, we got a lead, but it doesn't really feel like a lead anymore to me. Because the Spectre is starting to kill my supports just by hitting the Haunt button, which is the ultimate. So we're feeling like, okay, yeah, I am still strong, but no one else on my team is strong. So that's putting a lot more emphasis on me trying to keep all the lanes pushed. You notice that I rotate between mid and bottom almost exclusively when I'm on their side of the map. And that's because I want to keep them contained, right? If they leave the base, that gives them the opportunity to take a more impactful fight. Think about the difference between me fighting to defend my own tower and them fighting to defend their tower. The main difference is that they have to be able to push the creeps afterwards in order to make a move. If they defend their tier 3 or they defend a set of racks, as soon as that happens, they can't instantly get an objective after the fact. It takes time. And that time is what gives us an advantage. The longer it takes you to do something, obviously the worse it becomes. So every time I push in a lane, I'm basically saying, I want there to be a longer delay between when you can do stuff and when you can't. Because if you don't address the creeps, then you can't make a move. So the whole premise behind keeping the wave pushed is to keep pressure. And pressure is the name of the game here, especially when you're ahead. So we're about 40 minutes right now. We've lost our Aegis. I'm feeling pretty scared, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of at the point where I'm not so faithful in our ability to win team fights. There's a mag with an RP. There's a Spectre who now has Radiance and has a fair amount of health. And my supports and my core hero in my safe lane is not really cut out for the game to go this way. So if I'm looking at it from a self-reflect standpoint, I want to have already won. At 30 minutes, when we walked down that mid lane, if I had an Aegis, we could have just won the game. And then the analysis of this would be completely over, but that didn't happen, right? So now the entire dynamic of the game has changed. It's a Spectre late game. And we're looking at, you know, okay, we're constantly applying pressure, and you'll notice that one lane is actually still being pushed out. Now, someone should be up here dealing with this. Most likely the Ember, because that hero has crazy mobility. It can just be all over the map. He should be the one assigned to keeping that lane pushed, but that's not happening. He's bottom. So now we actually have a tier 2 being hit. There's a tower being sieged, and we are not able to capitalize on it at all because Spectre can just be in the fight at the drop of a hat. So we're now in a really weird position where we're still feeling unsafe. And we're trying to end the game, but we just don't feel confident, right? I go forward here. I'm relying on my BKB. I pop it here. We're gonna get a quick kill on the mag. I believe he actually has buyback. Yeah. So he buys back into the fight. And this is why going for these sort of fights can be very dangerous. Like, even though the mag just pretty much RP'd the ground, we still lost a hero. They got 5. I'm looking for a reinitiation, but my blink actually isn't up yet. Stun is only going to hit on the support hero. We're going to get another kill. That's a dieback on the mag. We get more buybacks, the Crystal Maiden and the OD bought back this time. And we don't have BKB at this point, but we're looking for a tree. We want to push the wave. We want to continue to hit. Now, committing to the Spectre here probably wasn't the best idea. And my Ember Spirit, like, overcommits. We're going to try to disengage. I believe we just end up TPing here. Yep, there we go. TP back to base. We got no mana. So we committed to the Spectre kill and we didn't get it. He's just too tanky. If I had gotten a crit, maybe we kill him, maybe not. But you'll notice the melee racks is still up. In hindsight, you know, hitting the melee barracks was probably the correct choice because they would not have been able to kill me in time, and I would have gotten the racks. Now, for those players who are maybe a little bit newer to the game and don't understand the impact of killing a barracks, so the creeps that spawn on your side after the barracks is dead are just stronger, and they also give less gold. So it's not just about constantly pressuring the lane, which is still important, but it's also taking away income from the enemy. And in a game where you're trying to win before like 40 to 50 minutes, one of the best things you can do is just pressure, right? And take away income from the enemy. Because no matter what, they're going to have to kill those creeps. They don't have a choice. If they don't kill the creeps, then the creeps kill their base. So you're basically just taking away money. That's how important killing those barracks are. Having the ranged barracks is okay. And yes, it will push in just by having that one. But it's not going to be as impactful as killing the melee barracks. So the fact that, let's say 13 minutes ago, almost to the minute, we could have killed that mid-racks. 13 minutes of getting creeps that are worth about half as much as a normal lane creep, and also have a lot more health and deal a lot more damage. These types of things, over the course of the game, have a tremendous impact. So while at the time, all of your decisions and your movements might seem like a very small thing, they all kind of add up. And every single little mistake, and every single time you don't kill Roche, and every time you don't actually go and hit the objective, you're giving the enemy team a chance to win. Especially in a game like this, where there's a Spectre. Again, one of the more late game oriented heroes. Very powerful, very hard to deal with past like 35, 40 minutes. So at this point, we're still pretty much playing the same game. Now this time we have all 3 lanes pushed. My Ember Spirit has committed to the top lane, which is good for us. So now we actually have what we would consider a full contain. As in no one inside of the Radiant team is feeling like they can get out on the map safely. And that's a good thing for us. Less they can get out on the map, less farming area, seems good. Now the one issue that I will say that you kind of run into, even if you have this kind of full contain, is the enemy team, if they have good high ground defense, as in AoE-based heroes, controlling abilities, things like that, it's actually very difficult to break the base with all of them still inside of it. So what a lot of higher MMR players will do is they will intentionally let one of their lanes get pushed so that they can maybe find like 1 or 2 less heroes inside of the base when they go in. Now this strategy doesn't work as well against heroes like Spectre because of their mobility, but it is something to keep in mind. Sometimes it is okay if you're ahead to let one of your own lanes be pushed in, because it splits up the enemy team. And by splitting up the enemy team, you're opening up a chance to take a fight. So we're still pretty much playing the same way. We're just moving back and forth between the lanes, keeping them pushed. We're still waiting for Roshan, I believe, which has actually been up for a little while. Probably should have taken it by now. The scary part about being in this game for us now is that if our contain gets broken, right, and they start walking out on the map, they have a really good chance of just beating us in a fight, because their core is very, very farmed. So now I'm kind of concerned, okay, if we go for Roche, like 2 of our lanes get pushed out, maybe all 3 of them get pushed out. They have Haunt, they got an RP. It's pretty scary. And we've already let this game go on for way, way, way too long. And this game gets a little bit hectic in a couple of minutes. We're going to go ahead and speed it up a bit because we're kind of getting to a point where nothing's really happening. I joust in there, I take the tier 3. We disengage. Basically what we're trying to do is deal as much structural damage as we can without committing, okay? So I walk up the hill when my BKB is available, realizing that I don't want to fight. Like you'll notice, deciding when I'm fighting, when I'm not fighting. My team is fighting right now. I am not confident in our ability to win that engagement. So what do? I go for the guaranteed structural damage. I say, hey, look, we're not going to defend, but what we can do is we can force an engagement somewhere else. And while that engagement is being forced, we can take an objective. Now, we're actually right next to their base, but I'm a tiny, so I still do a huge amount of DPS to structures as long as I have my tree. So we're going to hit this building. We're going to get the racks pretty much for free. Okay, not for free. I think I ended up dying here. Yeah, this is my first death. Okay. So I got the melee racks, right? But I wanna instill the notion of, if you're in a situation like we were, and you can't take a fight, the alternatives are often split pushing, but also, if a fight breaks out, you don't have to go to it. Especially if you know that you can't win that engagement. If the enemy team has crazy team fight like Enigmas or Global Silence, stuff like that, you can just ignore it. Especially if you're a core hero who does a lot of damage to buildings. Because chances are, you're going to get some value out of it anyway. We didn't get this melee Rex. Our Ember Spirit probably went back a little bit too early. I think he could potentially have gotten that one. But we're dead for a bit, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward. Let's do this 16 times here. Get our respawn on. Alright, so while I was dead, we lost a few more heroes. And we're still looking to pretty much play the same game. Now, this is when things change a bit. Notice how the enemy team is out on the map. They're also taking Roshan, which we didn't take before when we had it contained for like 20 minutes. So again, one of my bad habits, not killing Roshan. If we had taken Rosh, the enemy team certainly wouldn't be able to get it. I wouldn't have died bottom because I would have respawned. And maybe, maybe we take the top set of racks because it takes them longer to kill me, which means my Ember Spirit, who is split pushing at the time, has more of an opportunity to take that racks, okay? So that's the kind of influence that just having done Roshan can do for you. So I make my move back towards bottom. I want to keep pressuring. I know that they're probably doing Rosh right now, but we can't stop them. There's 5 heroes alive. I got 2 heroes dead. So my movement is that I want to go for the guaranteed structural damage. I throw the tree away so I can pick up a fresh one. My top player gets RP'd. I'm going for the barracks, right? Now, even though ignoring Roshan was the incorrect play, I am making a decision to say, I'm just going to say screw team fighting the entire game, right? If I see an opportunity to get a pick, I'll go for it. But if I think it's going to be a 4 versus 4 or a 5 versus 5, I don't want anything to do with that. I just want it to be hit structure, bait spells, run away with BKB. That is my entire mentality for pretty much the rest of this game. Because at this stage, I don't think it's actually, like, it is obviously possible for us to win a team fight, but it's so much easier for the enemy team to execute that all my movement is going to be based around avoiding. I am avoiding, I'm avoiding, I'm avoiding. We have tier 1s in both of our mid and our freaking offlane right now. I'm thinking, okay, we got a lot of time before the enemy team is going to be able to really get to our base. So I'm just looking to play the runaway game. We BKB TP. Now, in hindsight, TPing the base was probably a mistake. I should maybe have just TP'd to bottom lane, to the creeps, because I still had a lot of health.
This'll come in handy.
But yeah, we lost a core hero. We've lost a huge chunk of our advantage, and a lot of that is also because we didn't do Roche. I know we're talking about it a lot, but it is super, super important. Alright, so again, avoiding fights. I see the Spectre bottom. I don't want to fight the Spectre of all heroes. If I see someone else, like the Grimstroke for example, then sure, I might want to go in. Now I overcommit here. I'm pretty sure I end up dying. Yep, I do. So this is my second death. So me going in for the Grimstroke and then dying is really bad. Because now, in this situation, I have a couple of choices. I can buy back right away to keep pressuring, but if that means if I die one more time, this game just ends, okay? So my thought process is, I would rather let them pressure the lanes and have my buyback available for when they get to base to give me the best chance of not losing racks. I don't want to lose racks at all. I want to keep my towers alive. I want to especially keep my tier 3 alive and my racks, more than anything. So with that line of thinking, I'm not going to buy back. I see 2 heroes mid. I'm feeling pretty okay right now about holding my buyback. No one's pressuring it, right? No one's pressuring a tower right now. They're kind of just taking their time. They start to hit the tier 1, we're going to glyph it. But I'm not going to buy back for a tier 1 and a 52-minute game where it could potentially just, you know, end me, right? So we're still waiting. Enemy team's going to continue to push. Now, this fight is super ill-advised. This is probably the worst decision that we made the entire game. This is like the worst of the worst fights. Couple of reasons. 1, I'm dead. 2, not only am I dead, but my respawn timer is 17 seconds. If I have to buy back with 17 seconds left on my timer, I feel super, super awful about that. So the fact that anyone on my team is even standing in this area is just super, super bad. When your core is dead, and he's like this close to being respawned, do not force a fight. It is very, very, very bad, especially when the enemy team has superior team fight. So my team pretty much just gets destroyed there. Now they have buybacks, but it's still not okay to do that, even if you have a buyout. Just as a note. Yes, having the buyback is good habit. You should always have buyback at this stage in the game. Don't force fights without your core, and then be forced to buy back. Because now what happens, right? We completely changed the way we have to play the game. We can't just play around our buybacks anymore. We now cannot die. If those 2 heroes die again, they can't come back. That's it. I mean, I can come back, but what happens if they die and I'm left alive? Then I don't have a team. So we jump in there, mainly because we have BKB. We see that the Magnus misses the skewer, but again, OD and Crystal Maiden both buy back. It has been a very long time since we've actually pressured the enemy base, so the 7 minutes have gone more than by at this stage. So we're going to take some shrines. Probably could have done this a while ago. But you can see our lead at one point was like almost 20k, I want to say. We can just take a look at it. Yeah, we had like 20,000 golden experience lead. But just a couple of small things, you know? People watching this probably didn't know that we actually lose this game, right? But I wanted to do a game where I was really far ahead and then lost and explain some of the things that happen in the game that might seem small in terms of map movement, but they're super important as far as what happens in the game because of your decisions. So I die there. I still got buyback. And again, I'm holding it. I'm holding my buyback for the same reasons that we talked about earlier. I don't want to give the enemy team an opportunity to just straight up end the game. But you'll notice one of the heroes that was in that mid fight died again, and now does not have buyback, so we're down a hero. Which means we can't really defend. My team is trying to buy time by like manipulating the creeps, pushing the waves, that's good. We see a fight that breaks out. My Ember dies, he also has buyback. Now at this particular point, there are some things we could do. We could buy back and TP bottom. We could buy back and try to force Spectre out of lane. But the reality is, if we TP bottom, there's a lot of heroes. If we go top, then we end up fighting the strongest core on the enemy team. So we're still looking to pretty much just stay dead. Alright, so we respawn. This is where things get pretty bad for us. The Spectre is now the highest net worth in the game. We failed a couple of pushes. Now I'm going for the squishy heroes first because I'm pretty sure I can't even get a kill on a core. The grave there was a little bit early. I'm feeling like, okay, I can't really hit the Spectre. Really nice stun from the Lion there. Saves my life. I TP behind them because I know they're on full retreat right now. And I don't even let myself heal to full. I just pretty much go back in because I need to TP at that point or I do not get kills. Now walking in right now is a little bit scary. We get a couple of kills. This one, the mag has a buyback. Now, I should already be running here. I'm like, yep, I don't want to hit this guy because he's going to kill me, right? Like, I just can't kill the Spectre at this point. There's no way. What I want to do, ideally, is have my boots off cooldown, and I want to TP bot. I actually want to completely ignore this guy. So I buy a refresher. I refresh my bots and my BKB. I notice that the mag buys back, but I think I still TP bottom. Again, we can't kill the Spectre. A lot of people are going to watch this and say, why are you TPing away from your base? There's a Spectre killing your team. And my answer to that is, even if I'm there, the chances of killing that guy are really, really, really low. And killing that guy just delays the game. It doesn't make us win, right? So I'm holding alt right now, and by holding alt, I can see buyback status, and I can see TP status. So I have a buyback. Spectre also has a buyback, which means if I kill him in my base, and then I TP out, sure, it means if we kill the Spectre once, we could potentially win the game, but there's a good chance that I also die. So by TPing down here, I'm forcing the Spectre to also make a decision if he wants to continue that push. I know I kill buildings faster than him. So even though there's a Grimstroke and a Magnus alive, I got a BKB. I don't really care about them that much. And the Spectre is just unbelievably powerful at this point. Let's take a look at our items. Heart, Manta, Scotty, Abyssal Blade, Radiance, 4,800 health. Like, fighting this guy with an Ember Spirit and a Tiny just seems foolish, right? So I leave my Ember there to hopefully be able to, like, kind of keep her at bay. And I'm going to TP bot to try to exude my own pressure on the map. Moves like this can kind of salvage your game. And oh, hey, look, this guy doesn't expect me to be here, right? Now, I get hexed, which is unfortunate. And I should have popped my BKB there to get the kill. But I was kind of thinking I would kill him anyway. But I want you to look at how aggressively I'm playing this, right? I have BKB up. I'm just in their base. I notice the Spectre is no longer there. I'm in their base because I have BKB, even though my bots are down. So I'm like, I'm going to pop my BKB. I'm going to hit this building. And then I'm going to throw the mag back onto the Grimstroke and stun so that they're both far away from me, and then I can just get out. So just like that, we get a Rax, right? If I had stayed in the base, we never get that Rax. Ever. Because I kill the Spectre, best case scenario. That guy still has buyback. Alright, so my bots are back up. I see a regen. I'm like, I'm going to grab this first before I TP. Now the Spectre is on her way out. And I pick up the regen. And, you know, in the moment, this seemed like a good call, but it actually ends up kind of hurting me. I TP behind him. I get the stun. Now we're going to go on this guy, and it gets real bad. You'll notice, after taking this fight, how difficult it is for us to actually kill this guy. And I should have been running already, but I'm like, you know what? I'm committed. I want to go in. And the Spectre basically just kills me with Dispersion and Radiance. So we're both dead. And that's one of those kind of... I knew it would kind of happen that way, but killing the Spectre and finding an opportunity to kill after I already took my objective, I thought it was a good idea at the time. Probably wasn't, in hindsight. Probably should not have gone for that kill at all. Him backing would have been sufficient. Alright, so we fast-forwarded a little bit. We just went back to, we just fast-forwarded through the time I was dead, more or less. So the first thing that we do when we respawn is we TP top. We TP top to push the wave, because we have mid and bottom racks already taken, and top has no tier 3 tower.
Speedy rune of haste.
We notice Roshan's up. Our lanes are being pushed in. We make the objective call to go for Rosh because the enemy team is... they're pretty far away. You know, the mid lane's pushing in a little bit towards the river, but we feel like we have a buffer. Our Lion player is sitting on the high ground so that we can see the enemy team come in beforehand, and as soon as Rosh is low enough, he's like, okay, fine, I can just walk back in. Now, I don't take the Aegis or anything here because I still have buyback, and I kind of need all my items. So I don't really want to get rid of anything in my inventory. The only item I could potentially get right now is a Silver Edge. But I'm still kind of thinking in the way of, I don't know if I want to fight. Now, to be honest, we should be looking top to push that wave in. So this guy comes out of base. Now, you'll notice that I bail instantly as soon as I see this hero standing in the front. Now, you remember earlier when I said, when we were like doing the base trade thing, that going for this guy is death, okay? Also think he still has buyout. He has buyout. He has haunt. Going for this guy will kill us. One way or another, it will absolutely kill our entire team. So as soon as I see them go in, I'm like, please do not fight that. I want out. I want other heroes. So what do me and the other core do? We run top. And we run top because, again, avoiding the Spectre is how we win the game. Now, I should have BKB'd a bit sooner there. But, yeah, I should have BKB'd sooner. You know, it potentially wins us the game. I actually buy back at this point. Now, this buyback is a little bit ill-advised because I'm going to have to play super safe now. If I die one more time, the game just ends no matter what. And this buyback is not something that I would recommend. It was more of like the I've been in this game for 63 minutes, please get me out buyback. But in the sake of winning, what I just did was a bad play and you should not do it. You should just hold the buyback, just like you did earlier. Now, I know that my life is basically... the game is on the line. You know, you're a core player, you buy back, and then you realize, oh crap, we actually can't do anything, and now if I die again, the game is just over. So we're gonna play pretty... conservative for the next couple of minutes. Let's fast forward a bit. So we're making our way, picking up some runes, trying to play safe. The fight kicks off here, I get ulted, but I still got BKB, so I'm feeling okay about it. We get the kill on the Grimstroke, we still have a DD, we get a nice RP cancel with the toss. So we get 2 kills. Now these heroes are dead for 2 minutes with no buyback. I want more, so I blink forward. I still have a DD, but I wasn't able to do enough damage to him to actually get the kill. Alright, now I'm TPing back to base, and you're gonna say, why the hell are you TPing home? Well, 1, the Spectre's here. 2, I have a refresher orb. So I'm gonna refresh my BKB, I'm gonna heal up, and I'm gonna try to get back into the fight as soon as I possibly can. I absolutely do not want the enemy team getting across the river at this point. It is way too scary. So I'm gonna keep TPing aggressively, and I'm gonna keep trying to pressure. So we make the call. We go for mega creeps in the bottom lane. I buy bots too. We TP right on top of the Ember. They have a glyph here. So while they're glyphed, I'm gonna pick up a tree so I get the bonus damage. Again, I BKB too early. Should not BKB that early. Now we're gonna get the kill, but I end up dying. So we get Megas. I get a couple of tosses off. And then I get banished, and I think I do eventually end up just dying, so. Now, the buyback that I had earlier, it's suddenly come back to haunt me, right? No pun intended. But now I'm dead for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a very, very long time. So even though there's 2 heroes dead on the enemy team, not a single one of my remaining alive heroes can deal with Spectre. I am pretty much the only one who can kill Spectre. So what happens? Enemy team pushes down mid. You know, we don't have anyone in the other side lane. Like, someone should ideally be down here, where the other creep wave is. And there's 4 people in the base. Now, this is the point where we're basically going to have to defend. And their whole team is going to be alive. And we're now at a situation where, okay, we get 1 kill. Great. My Ember gets hexed into a banish. He's not going to be able to live through this one, but he doesn't have buyback either. So now both of our cores are dead. Neither one of us have buyback. And this is pretty much, for most intents and purposes, this is the end of the game. Like, we don't make a recovery from this point. The game just ends. So, from a perspective of map movement, the general things that we kind of went over. Controlling the runes as the mid player, especially as one that wants to be as active in the game as Tiny. Why we're fighting, when we're fighting, objective taking, things like that. Picking what heroes that we're going to kill, choosing what lanes we're going to. We didn't really talk too much about warding this game. I'll probably do more of that in another video. But this is the end of kind of the structured educational format. I'll be answering a couple of questions pertaining to this game or just anything relating to map movement in general for a couple of minutes, and then we'll call it a day. So if you guys have any questions right now, I'll do some live answering of them, and then we will go ahead and wrap it up. When do you take Roche instead of pushing? So, as a general rule of thumb, in this game, it's a really good example too, because we essentially lost because we did not Roche. If we go to Roshan in this game at like 25 minutes or 30 minutes, I think we win like 9 times out of 10. Just because of the Aegis on a very, very farmed Tiny and how many less items the Spectre would have at that stage in the game. So I feel personally like if you can take Roshan and not lose anything in the process, you should always, always take it. Every single time you should take Roshan. That thing makes such an enormous difference in fights. In the way that you can play, and being able to go in aggressively and find the kill that you want, and be able to just straight up win. Any other questions pertaining to this game that aren't based towards like itemization and things like that? Alright, well, if there are no other questions pertaining to this game, I think we kind of covered almost every single aspect of what I wanted to go over. Again, this is a live recording, so there might have been a couple of mistakes here and there, some things I didn't go over. If you guys have any questions, comments, things you want to see in the future, feel free to leave it in the comments below the video, as this will be uploaded to YouTube. And thank you guys very much for helping out and tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy.